No one really knows the impact their life will have on the world when they enter it, nor do they know the events that will be cast onto them to endure. Every gender, race, and age are affected by these events and the decisions that their government makes concerning them. For most people born into a recent post-Civil War era, their government was concerned with the stipulations of allowing Black Americans to be free and to vote. Everyone's voices were heard in deciding these matters, even Black men concerning later decisions, all except for the women. By studying how women reacted to these events and qualities, their dreams for the future of womanhood become clear. Their involvement encourages future generations to exercise the rights that they fought for in their lifetime. Women were the social impactors. They used their womanly qualities to create discussion among their circles to eventually affect the actual decision makers. For some women, this status quo was desired. For others, they knew their worth and their citizenship and wanted to be more involved and vote like their male counterparts. Women like the latter paved the way for the rights that women have today. Women like Nina Blundon Wills. Nina Blundon Wills was born in 1865. She lived in West Virginia for most of her life, was educated, married, and a mother of two. These details were very common to the average woman. Most fell into their womanly duties of motherhood and tending to the home, and some even became socially engaged. Social activities were considered to be a normal role in society for women. However, Mrs. Wills took her social engagement and turned it toward political engagement for the advancement of women, which was not as common. Her impressive list of involvement begins with her regency of the Kanawha County chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. For many towns in pre-suffrage USA, the local DAR worked to gain women the right to vote. According to Kanawha County's DAR website, she organized the first chapter and held the first meeting within her home. From 1919 to 1921, she was president of the West Virginia Federation of Women's Clubs, which had over 6,000 members for the purpose of creating greater usefulness in the home and a higher appreciation of citizenship. Among her other memberships, Mrs. Wills participated in the Women's Relief Corps, the Women's Christian Temperance Union, and an auxiliary of the Grand Army of the Republic. Her extensive civil affairs experience led her to becoming the only Republican candidate for Kanawha County House of Delegates in 1922. Following the announcement of her running, it was reported by the Charleston Daily Mail, which was accessed through Ancestry.com, that it created much interest and excited favorable comment. She received the seventh-place vote for an election that allowed 6 to be elected. Although she got the highest number of votes among the Republican Party, the Democratic candidates received the 6th highest number of votes. Nina Wills had the confidence to run for the House of Delegates only 2 years after women received their right to vote. This research is important because her confidence in the value she would bring to government as a woman is encouraging for a time that it was not historically accepted. Today, in the Kanawha County House of Delegates, out of 100 seats, only 12 are filled by women. Would Nina Wills have been satisfied with the number of women who earn seats in a sea of men? Is her legacy and effort honored by current women being engaged in civil affairs? Among her various involvements, Nina Blundon Wills was a talented musical composer and a poet. She had some published work that advocated for the projects that she worked toward in her organizations. She used all of her talents for the positive change she hoped for around her. Mrs. Wills died in West Virginia in 1937, 17 years after women earned their right to vote. She lived to see the fruits of her own labor. Her life uncovered through research boasts of accomplishments, involvements, and encouragements. Most of the people involved in creating change for women in the suffrage movement were not the Susan B. Anthonys or the Alice Pauls that everyone is familiar with. Most of these people were women like Nina Blundon Wills, who was responsible for energizing the local populations for women's rights. This research project shed light onto one life within a world of many. We uncovered her biological information, her extensive involvement, her confidence to enter into government, her passions, and I believe this research uncovered her hopes for the generations that followed. Nina Blundon Wills would have wanted women to exercise their rights to vote, to be engaged in the decisions that affect them, and to continue the fight for equality in the rights that are granted. This research both inspired and encouraged me to look at my own life to see what I can be doing to change the world around me. Will my life be the subject of future research after I am gone, to be uncovered by an undergraduate research project? Will yours?